Good morning, Wake Up HTC. Cris Oviedo here with you on this Monday morning. And thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you everybody for being here. I take Mondays, I know that a lot of people don't like Mondays and they are like, it's Monday. Why the weekend was so short and why do we have to do this again? Um, I've I'm trying to break away from that because I was part of that as well. And I'm actually trying to see Mondays as a new opportunity to start and just kind of like reset and do new things. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about opportunity. We're going to talk about growth. And I'm very excited to have this conversation with my guests this morning. We have two guests already with us. We may have one more person joining us in just a little bit. And Grant Schmelzer, I think that's how I say your last name. I did not ask you before we went live. Thank you for joining us. He's represented the independent electrical contractors. And Stephanie, I did not ask you about your last name either. I'm going to say Cepolo.
Correct.
And she is representing the Career and Technology Education Program at Howard County Public School System. We're going to talk today about the electrical apprenticeship and what an apprenticeship is and the exciting opportunity that it presents for education. I think apprenticeships are a beautiful way to learn, in the classroom, get that experience and just grow your career. So I'm very excited to have you both. I thank you for joining me. And I always start my conversations just getting to know my guests a little bit better. And Grant, I'll start with you. If you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspires your work.
Well, I've been with IEC. Thank you, Chris, for just had my 26th anniversary with IEC. So I've been here for more than half the time that IEC has been around as an organization. We are part of a national association with 52 chapters across the United States. And we at IEC Chesapeake cover a geographic territory of Philadelphia all the way down to Richmond. We are the third largest chapter within our network. We are the second largest chapter with the number of apprentices, which I know Chris will be asking some more details about the apprenticeship program. But most importantly, we have over 150 businesses that are affiliated with the organization, and they employ over 15,000 electrical workers. For me, it's about not only work, but about giving back. The biggest need over the last 10 to 15 years has been recruiting individuals to not get a job, but get a career in the electrical industry, because there's so many off-ramps and on-ramps onto our highway within the electrical industry that you can complete your circuits in. And we've been doing a really good job of branding and getting our messaging out. And we hope this is just another opportunity for us to do this with Howard Community College.
So you just made a distinction there that I want to explore a little bit more. You said, I don't want people to just go get a job. I want them to have a career. Tell us a little more about what you mean with that, specifically in the electrical world.
Sure. So most people think of electrical. We all have our iPhones. We all have our computers, our laptops, our tablets. Well, they all need power. So the industry has continued to evolve with technology. For us, it's about being able to keep the lights on for everybody, keep your phones powered up. You got to still plug them in, but you got to keep them powered up. So when individuals first come to us, they generally come to us looking to become an electrician. But what we know is there's all the supportive industries around the electrical industry. So it's the companies that supply our electrical contractors with the material that they need to wire up the buildings. There's the electrical inspectors who inspect all the electrical work that's performed. And then you get down to the education side, which is our primary focus. We need to be able to train people, so we need electrical instructors. So there's lots of different ways to get involved in the industry, but it generally starts off with becoming an electrician, and that takes about 4 years for most candidates to go through a 4-year electrical apprenticeship program, which we just launched at Howard Community College back in February. We have about 20 students in the training program for year one, and then they will progress into years 2, 3, and 4. And when they complete the program, they will be a licensed journey worker electrician. And then they can take it wherever they want to go into all these other opportunities that I just mentioned. So really, it's not just a job, it is a career, because you can do whatever you want to do. Think about it in this perspective. Our hospitals, they all have electricians. HCC has electricians on staff. All of our government agencies have electricians. All of our manufacturing facilities that manufacture everything from canned goods to appliances to electronics, they may all be done automated, but the automation is all contingent upon them having the power to run these assembly lines. So that's what I look at when I look at the career side of things.
Thanks for clarifying that, because I think you're right. I think that, we always think of a job, but we don't think about all those opportunities. And when we think of the medical field, like you just mentioned, or, when you think of education, you think you have to be a teacher. Well, guess what? If your passion is, working with electrics, you can still be part of the education. You're just going to have a different job within a college, right? Just making sure that it continues to spark, that it continues to really work. That's what the job is going to be. Stephanie, tell us a little bit about you and what you enjoy the most about your job.
My name is Stephanie Cepelo. I work for the Howard County Public School System. I've been with the school system for 25 years, and I work in the Office of Career and Technical Education. All of our CTE programs help build career pathways for students. And I am passionate about helping students find their pathway to a career. This is the second year that we've been offering apprenticeship programs for our students, and our partnership with IEC has been such an incredible opportunity for our students. Sorry. We first started with the pre-apprenticeship program, working with IEC, and they've been so supportive. And we've had, I believe, like 60 students connect from the school system with IEC. And we do not offer an electrical program within our school system. So this was a really great partnership. And we have many, many students that are interested in it. So we're very grateful to IEC for supporting our students.
So when I think apprenticeship, I immediately think somebody who's graduated from high school. I think immediately somebody who's at least in college or has completed, right, that GED. But here we're talking with Howard County Public School System. We're talking about an apprenticeship program through that. Help us make that connection and understand what that means for, students who are maybe right now at the Howard County Public School System, what that looks like, how that works.
So offering this opportunity during student senior year has been really critical and important, because we are able to support them and really build that bridge to what they're going to be doing post-graduation. Howard County students have so many options when they graduate, and we're very good at providing information for them to see what their options are. But this is the first time that we've been able to build a strong partnership where we can really support them in that transition. And we have found that the students are much more successful if we are able to provide that bridge to what they're going to be doing post-graduation.
So the apprenticeship program is for seniors only. I just heard you say that.
Correct.
Do they need to take classes before? Is this like a program that, when you come into the 9th grade, you already kind of have to start thinking about it? Is this something you can just jump right in when you're a senior?
So I'm going to say yes to both. In an ideal scenario, they would be thinking about, they would have their 4-year plan, and they would have it prepared for them to have this space in their schedule during their senior year. And they would be taking possibly engineering classes or other, maybe even coming from the construction academy that we offer within our school system. But we have seen both. So students that are coming through our other CTE programs, or have been in our engineering classes, but we also have many students that get to their senior year and realize this is a great fit for them and they really like that hands-on opportunity. They're out there working and they're just working jobs, and they really see that this is a great opportunity to build that career and enter employment before graduation. Many of our students get to their senior year and they're really ready to work full time, and they're able to have that connection so that they can start over the summer and then finish throughout the school year.
You just mentioned work, and I thank you for bringing that up, because that's where I was getting a little, maybe, hold up here in the conversation, because an apprenticeship is a combination of a full-time job and your education, right? And when we're thinking of how of school students, right, like high school students, I was trying to wrap my mind around, well, how is this piece coming together? And maybe you guys, both of you, can help us, kind of like define that idea of an apprenticeship and really put it together of how the school system works with that idea of the apprenticeship, and how IEC, what the role of IEC is within that apprenticeship.
So what is really exciting about this opportunity is it's very individualized to students. So students get into their senior year all students need English and math to graduate, but how they accomplish that is dependent on which pathway they want to do. So we have been able to customize it for the students. So they get to their senior year and they may want to go to HCC for English and math, and could ideally finish those required courses for graduation in the fall and be able to work full-time in the spring. We have some students that start work in the morning and then go back to their high school. We have students that have chosen to go to evening school to complete them. And we also have students that did them digitally. Obviously this year, all students started digitally, but we really look at what the student's unique individual needs are and what is going to be the best fit for them. But the goal and the plan is for them to become full-time employees of that company. So certainly the students work full-time over Christmas break and spring break and when schools are closed. And this year it was great because they could work full-time on Wednesdays based on the way the schedule was set up. So it is very individualized, but what we see is that the students that are coming into this program want to be at work as much as possible.
Grant, help us bring IEC into the picture and the role that you guys play in this apprenticeship.
So Chris, I'm going to take a little step back because I think it's important for the viewers to understand. In the state of Maryland, there's roughly 11,000 registered apprentices across all occupations. I do sit on the State Apprenticeship Council for Governor Hogan, and I did under his predecessors all the way dating back to Governor O'Malley. And the important thing to understand is that apprenticeship continues to grow. And most people, when they think about apprenticeship, they think about the construction industry. And we've been around, and I'll say lots of other industries are now understanding what apprenticeship means. So I'll say, along with the state, the county, and Howard County Public Schools, apprenticeship is being expanded into lots of other occupations, everything from IT to healthcare to culinary. While the construction industry continues to be involved in apprenticeship, I'll say everybody knows our best secret now. So it's becoming more common to understand that, hey, there is this opportunity that exists. So when we started to look at the numbers, the average age of an apprenticeship is somewhere between the ages of 25 to 30 years old. So we were losing a large section of individuals who have graduated high school, and I'll say maybe they went to a 2-year or 4-year institution, or they just went straight to work, but they didn't necessarily have that career. And that's really what we've been able to do with the partnership with Stephanie and the team in Howard County Public Schools, is where our goal is to take 17 and 18 years old, bring them in, get them their first year of apprenticeship while they're a senior in high school, So by the time they get to 20, 21 years old, they're a journey worker electrician, so that we can start to bring our average age of workers down. Because right now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that in the Baltimore, Maryland corridor, or Baltimore, Washington corridor, by 2025, we're going to have an increased need of electricians by 14%. That's a huge, daunting number. And what we've been doing over the years, we haven't been getting the best results. So we tried to look at it holistically and say, how can we do things differently, do things better? And that's really where I'll say Stephanie and the team have been instrumental in helping us to expand this into the high school network. So the good news is, from IEC's perspective, we expanded the program last year into Anne Arundel County. This year, we expanded it into Montgomery County and Charles County. So Howard County has really been the leaders of this. And when you break it down, there's another company called Humanum that Stephanie and the team at HCPS works with, and they're starting to grow the numbers. And by in turn, HCC is partnering to provide that next level of education once we're working with the school system and getting them that credit in their senior year of high school.
Adrian, welcome, and thanks for joining
Thank
our
you.
conversation today. This is perfect timing because we're just getting to, putting it all together. We heard from Stephanie, what the Howard County Public School System is doing and the opportunity that they're offering and how they work. Very individualized opportunity for each one of the students who wants to do an apprenticeship. Grant just explains IEC's role and the opportunity, the job market opportunity that it's continuing to grow. Tell us now HCC's role, and tell us, how we put it all together, how all these three institutions come together to really create a wonderful opportunity for growth and for career development.
So obviously we're looking at Howard County Public Schools to be able to partner and assist with the students that are feeding into Howard Community College. It's an opportunity for the students to begin their apprenticeship while they're still in high school. Once they've finished high school, then it's an opportunity for them to continue their coursework and their apprenticeship through Howard Community College. And IEC and Grant is obviously the third part of this partnership because he is the director at IEC. So we're being able to provide opportunities in the electrical occupation for students.
Thank you for bringing that together. Stephanie, let me go back to you and let's talk about, maybe somebody's listening and they're like, I have a child in the Howard County Public School System. I think this would be a good opportunity for them, right? Who should consider joining this apprenticeship program? Who in the Howard County Public School System should be looking at this as a serious opportunity for their career?
Well, I would say all students, everyone. I think it's a unique opportunity. And when I talk to the students and the parents, I always stress this great opportunity for them to be supported, to have an edge over their peers, because they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing in their senior year on their own without navigating a lot of different aspects of the program on their own. And so I encourage all students to seriously consider, certainly in relation to electrical, we talk to students about, working with their hands, wanting to have a career where they're very hands-on. But the uniqueness of that earn and learn is really what speaks to the students, because what they're learning in the classroom directly relates to what they're doing on the job. And we find that a lot of students feel as though what they're learning in school or what they're learning in a classroom is abstract, but they're really able to take what they're learning and apply it. And that is what the students are really enjoying. They're learning so much. And so they pay very close attention to what is being taught in the classroom, because they know that they're going to have to demonstrate that on the job, and they want to make sure that they're able to do so.
Grant, I would love for you to talk about this because you've been, involved with apprenticeships and supporting them, you said, for a very long time, before they were popular, let's say, right? So tell us, what's the value? What is it that has made you feel so strongly about apprenticeship as this model for education? What makes them unique?
Yeah, I mean, great question, Chris. It's, we've brought it really full circle over as long as I've been involved with it for 25 years now. We have individual candidates, and Howard County Public Schools is a prime example of our work. Is once the students understood that the math and the reading directly apply to their success out in the workforce, they got it. We saw when we initially launched the program, GPAs going up by almost a full point, because the students saw that, hey, I need this math. This is how it applies. And really, that's been the message that we've been able to send, is what you're doing in the K through 12 system is applicable. And they were working on it, working in it. And most importantly, they're getting a paycheck, right? So they can see that, hey, I'm earning money while I'm still in school to go out and buy whatever games they want to, or vehicles they want to, or whatever they want to be able to go do it. And they have to continue on that pathway. Now, what's been evolving and will continue to evolve, and that we're continuing to evolve with HCC and Adrian and the team, is they're going to get credits for their apprenticeship program. So they'll get, we're still working on that, but in some cases at other institutions in the state, they get up to 30 credits, sometimes 35 credits, once they complete all 4 years of their apprenticeship program. So they're halfway to 60% of the way towards an associate's degree. So for a lot of people, especially I'll say men, they mature a little bit later in life. So they're able to take that, and then they can go back and get their, bachelor's degree if that's something that they want to. A lot of people will tend to go out and start their own businesses. And I'll say the other courses that HCC offers are invaluable for them being successful and being a business owner, or just managing their day-to-day lives, especially on the financial literacy side and things along those purposes for them and their families. The most important thing to understand is with IEC, we currently have about 900 apprentices in school. I'll say 98% of them are all working full-time. So they really are, they're working, they're going to school generally in the evening hours. For about 7 hours a week for 6 months is what it equates to. And then they have their summer break, because what happens during the summer is a lot of companies are working overtime because there's this labor shortage in the electrical industry. So students are working 50, 60 hours a week. I mean, Stephanie can tell you over the last 2 years, a lot of students will work in between Christmas and New Year's break to earn some extra money. Or if there's the opportunity to work on Saturdays, some of them have chosen to work on Saturdays. And the beauty of all this is the program is starting to take on a life of its own, where they're selling it to their friends, or I'll say parents are selling it to each other. But it's really the desire to, you got to wake up early in the construction industry. So most of our students are starting at 6 a.m. in the morning, 4 days a week. They're going till about 10, 11 o'clock, 4 days a week in the morning hours. And then, as Stephanie referenced earlier, they're going back and getting their required classes. And the 5th day, they report to IEC over in Laurel, and they take their first year of related instruction. And we start them at, I believe it's 6:30 in the morning. And they're with us for 5 hours during the morning hours. And the companies are actually paying for their tuition. So there really is limited out-of-pocket expense for the students. And at a time when college costs are escalating very rapidly and due to the pandemic, I'll say things are changing and evolving, they can really accomplish it all by being involved in the apprenticeship program.
This might be an unfair question. It may actually not make a whole lot of sense. And I don't know if you, Grant, or Stephanie could answer it better, but like, what does a day look like, for the students? Like when they join an apprenticeship, usually when you're thinking about taking a class, right? You think, okay, I'm going to go into my classroom, I'm going to sit there, I have my curriculum, I know what I'm going to be learning today. We're going to go from A to B to C, right? But it seems like this is such a dynamic opportunity that it's almost an unfair question to ask. But like when a student joins an apprenticeship and when they go to their job, what are they doing there?
So from my perspective, I'll answer it a little bit in terms of the job site, right? So it can vary. I think everybody's familiar with IKEA. We have a student right now actually at the Beltsville, or they call it College Park IKEA, right at 495 and 95. And we have a student right now who I believe is enrolled with HCC. He's one of our seniors. He is reporting to the job site first thing in the morning, and they are running the wire to the solar panels that are on IKEA. That's just a great example of what that individual is doing. Some of our students report to the company's warehouses, and they'll assemble and get everything ready to be shipped out to the job sites. Other students are actually, we have one that was featured by Howard County Public Schools. We had one student that is actually working, and Stephanie, I don't know all the names of the high school, Stephanie can comment on, but he's actually doing the electrical work at his high school where he attends. And it was just an awesome story. So it's a renovation of an existing high school in Howard County. So it looks slightly different for every company. And because we have 150 companies, I can't tell you what it looks like, but those are generally the three scenarios, what they encounter on a day in the life of an apprentice.
So Grant, help us out fully understand this process. Let's say somebody wants to do an apprenticeship, right, through IEC. What's the process of application? You just mentioned IKEA, you mentioned you mentioned 150 partners, right, who are employing them. Do they need to come up with them? Do you guys put them together with them? Help us through the process, understand that process.
So there's two entry points into the system, so to speak. So the easier one for me to explain first is a individual is currently working for one of our member companies, an electrical contractor. They're already employed, and they submit an application. The second scenario generally is the same for, I'll say, Howard County Public School students or anybody that is interested and learns about us through HCC. They must submit an application, and it's a 2-page application, and we require them to submit supplemental or additional supporting paperwork. They also must complete a basic safety class, which they can take online. Once that occurs, then we bring them through and they take a math and reading evaluation to make sure that they have the basic skill sets, because we want to set them up for success. If for some reason they don't achieve a 70% or higher on those evaluations, we will redirect them to either Stephanie and the team at HCPS or Adrienne and her team at HCC to get that remediation that's necessary. They will also then, once they achieve that, they will be interviewed, and we will then, if that is successful, then we will work with them on job placement with one of our 150 companies.
Let's make a pause here. You mentioned math and you mentioned English, right? And you actually have a test and you want to make sure that they are at level because you want them to be successful. And I know you mentioned this earlier in our conversation today, where you said that it is important, right? And that you're even seeing GPAs go higher once they realize that those classes are connected to their career. Can you talk about that connection? Can you maybe help us make that connection? Because somebody might be still watching and listening and saying, but I'm just going to be fixing something at somebody's house. I'm working with my hands. I don't need math. I don't need English. Help us make that connection.
Sure. The best example I can give you is, and we have a sample math evaluation on our website, so I'm not giving out any secrets, but how to read a ruler. That's one of the things that students need to be able to do. And of course, when you're reading a ruler, you're going to need fractions because it may not be the exact, 2 feet. It may be 2 feet, and a quarter. So those are the types of things that they need to understand because they're going to be measuring. Let's say you put in a ceiling fan. Well, you're going to need electrical on your ceiling and you want it centered over the bed. So you need to take a tape measure out, measure the difference so that it's centered in the room or over the bed, whatever the case may be. So you need to be able to do that. You may need to purchase, or you're going to need wire to run that. Well, what's the duration of that wire? You're going to have to add that up. It's, our smartphones are great, but we still need some of the tools that have been in the industry for decades, or I'll say close to a century probably by now. So those are the reasons why, especially the math is such an integral part of what we do in the construction industry to be able to do that. In terms of the reading comprehension, this is a college class. We call it our Bible, but it's something called the National Electrical Code, which is updated every 3 years. And that takes into account the new technology that's integrated into our system. And we've all most of us take things out of boxes. We may not read the directions, but sometimes you need to read those directions. And they're pretty wordy, and you need to understand it. You need to stop and concentrate. So that's why we want to make sure the reading comprehension skills are up to snuff to be able to read those things.
Adrian, for somebody who is listening and watching, and they're saying, this sounds really interesting, I would like to pursue, how do they start the process through Howard Community College?
So they can certainly visit our website, which is www.howardcc.edu/apprentice. And that will certainly direct them to our page listing all of our apprenticeships at Howard Community College. It is broken down by occupation. So there is a tab for electrical that they can then click on the link, and there's more information at that site, as well as will give you contact information also for Howard County Public Schools and for IEC, both.
Great. And Stephanie, if somebody is watching and listening and they want to consider they have their kids in the school system still, they want to have a conversation about this and explore what this opportunity might look like, how do they start that process? Who do they contact? What are the steps that they need to follow? So
the HCPSS website has information about the Apprenticeship Maryland program under the Career Academies page. So we list all of our Career Academies information on the hcpss.org website. And they certainly can reach out to anybody in the CTE office or myself, but they can find all of that information on our website if they're interested in learning more about the program.
Grant, I want to go back to you, and I want to go back to apprenticeships in general. You've been supporting them for a long time. You said you have about 150 employers right now in your network. You also said that there's a shortage, right, of qualified people out there. But if there's a shortage, that tells me that there's also a big need, that it may be, even bigger than what we've talked about here. And you also mentioned that different industries are starting to think about apprenticeship as an opportunity. I really want you to talk to those employers out there. I really want you to talk about, why apprenticeship one should not just be assumed for the construction industry, right? And then two, why should employers from all different types of industries why should they consider doing an apprenticeship, offering an apprenticeship? What value will they get from doing something like this?
Yeah. So as an organization, IEC, and during my duration here, we were doing the status quo. We weren't almost reinventing ourselves. So this was an opportunity, and in full disclosure, when we first started this with Stephanie and the team at Howard County Public Schools, we literally pulled this together to start it out as a pre-apprenticeship program. We made it, and I say we really, Stephanie made it happen in 30 days. And that's the one thing I want to tell you and the viewers is, if you have a need as a business, look to the public high school system to meet that need. What we learned from our perspective is we wanted to attract younger individuals. The construction industry physically is very demanding. Your bodies give out later on in life. So I think those statistics of 14% are low. I think they're higher than that, me personally. And I think what the other industries are recognizing is that we as a country and probably as a society are moving to more short-term credentials that you can show proficiency in different areas and that you can add on to those credentials as you go. And that's really what a lot of employers are looking for, individuals to be able to do whatever it is their business does, and then reinvest in those employees to get them their next credential to be able to grow within the company. And I think that's a lot what Adrian and the team at Howard County Public Schools have seen. And what we see within our K through 12 partners at HCPS is that they are doing that for their students. So they're getting lots of different credentials in a lot of different industries. Think about it, there are nurse practitioners. Well, 15 to 20 years ago, there weren't nurse practitioners. It's evolved as an industry because of these labor shortages. They're going with a little bit shorter term of training that provides a credential, and then they can maybe take a little bit of time off and then come back and get that next credential. There's a lot going on in everybody's lives. We all have families and friends that we want to spend time with. So I think the credentialing, the short-term credentialing, is what is being looked at from the employer perspective as a way to continue to educate and grow their workforce into additional roles within their organizations.
I wanted to reiterate too that we've started this program and incorporating Howard County Public Schools, and the plan is to also have other available pathways for students at Howard County Public Schools to HCC, and potentially then to IEC and to other occupations. But I also I think we're remiss in stating that if there is someone that has graduated from high school, really wasn't sure what they wanted to do in high school, but now maybe viewing this or maybe has a connection, certainly you can enter the program once you have graduated from high school. So it's not strictly limited to high school, to HCC, to IEC. So I just wanted to be able to share that at any age you are able to enter an occupation in the apprenticeship space.
And I know we've had conversations before, about other apprenticeships. And that's one of the beautiful things I feel, because Grant, you just said something that's very powerful, right? We've thought for a very long time that we had to go to a 4-year school, depending on what career we wanted to go. It could be even longer than those 4 years. And we thought that was the only way to do it, right? And that you had to decide it right as soon as you graduated from high school and you were locked in for life. Where here, apprenticeships are giving us a different way of still accomplishing our dreams and being successful. And Adrian, to your point, it's never too late, right? I know that a lot of people may start a career, find later in life that this is not necessarily exactly what I wanted to do or what I thought I would be doing for the rest of my life. And I'm looking at this other opportunity, or I found through through hobbies or through just other interests, that there's other things that really, really get me excited. An apprenticeship might be that door. An apprenticeship could be the way that you do it because, like Grant said, you're getting paid, right? And you're learning. It takes minimal capital for you to go ahead and do it. So it's just, your investment is little. You're learning through that. I've said this before to you, Adrian, in my opinion, this is the way education should always be, because you're combining that experience with the classroom and just bringing that professional wholly together for that day of graduation. Stephanie, I wanted to go back and just see if there's any, Grant said you guys put this together in a very short period of time. And he also talked about other opportunities, and there's so many talents, right? When you're working with students, there's just so many talents, so many different interests. What are other opportunities available through the Howard County Public School System?
Within the apprenticeship program, we have opportunities. Grant mentioned Humanum. That is a very strong partnership that we have to offer students the opportunity to become direct support professionals through Humanum. And we have other construction industry opportunities. We have employers that are actually coming on board. This year, we've picked up several new employers in manufacturing. So we're constantly looking to grow our program and grow the employer base that we have to offer opportunities for students. And the word is definitely spreading amongst the students, and they really see the value in this opportunity for so many reasons. And so they're really rethinking what their original plans were post high school. And so this is really just an excellent opportunity for students to connect prior to high school. And we hope to offer positions in a very strong, wide base of industries, so that it isn't, of course, I'm passionate about this opportunity in electrical, but, there's direct connection to that, as Grant was talking about, in IT and technology. So, and we have a lot of students interested in working in computers, cyber, IT. So, we're looking to partner with HCC, and we'd like to have multiple entry points for our students. So not all students can take on this responsibility in their senior year, because it is a big responsibility to be an employee in a career pathway, not just a job, and finish their high school graduation requirements and finish year one of registered apprenticeship. So certainly some students need to graduate before they can enter these programs for a variety of reasons. So, but we really want to offer that senior year entry point for those students that can and are ready to take on that commitment.
Absolutely. Let's remind everybody where they can get in touch with you and get more information. Adrian, then we'll go to you so you can tell us where we can get more information.
So again, our webpage, which is www.howardcc.edu/apprentice, or they can email apprentice@howardcc.edu, and someone from my team will respond. But we look forward to any applicants or any inquiries to talk about the wonderful opportunities in the various occupations that we do offer.
So it's just around 11 o'clock. I've learned so much about this opportunity, and I'm inspired through this apprenticeship opportunity, knowing that, Grant, I love what you said. We tend to look at our youth as, the group that doesn't really know what they want to do yet. And, it's okay. We just need to wait for them to kind of like figure it out before they get serious about a career. here you're challenging, employers, you're challenging educational institutions to really take them seriously and open these doors and open these opportunities. Stephanie, you said it so well. Not everybody's ready to take it on. But there are some students out there who are ready, to just go ahead and make their career choices right there before they even graduate high school. So I really feel very empowered, and I feel very inspired to, look at our youth as the strong, really, force that's going to move us forward. We always say that. But I think this is really taking that seriously and creating that and making something with that. I just want to ask you all, for some last words, anything that you want our listeners and our viewers to really keep in mind and take with them after this conversation. And I'll go in the order in which I see you guys on my screen. So Stephanie, we'll start with you. Grant, you go next, and Adrian, you go last.
So my message to the students and parents would be to explore the opportunities that we offer and to seriously consider taking advantage of this very unique opportunity to have supported employment, because we are supporting them in this journey during their senior year. And our passion is to help them and to make sure that they're successful in this program. And for the employers in the community, I would encourage them to consider working with us in this partnership. The school system is very invested in supporting these students as their employees. So it's a unique relationship in that they're getting an employee that has so much support, and we want to make sure that they are successful within those companies. So really looking for more employers to come on board and just encouraging students to consider this opportunity.
From my perspective, I'll say our young people, is follow your passion. Listen to what's going on inside of you. There tends to be peer pressure about what everyone does and what industries and college. And I'll say that from the electrical industry, you can have it all. You really can. And follow your heart where you want to go. Follow your likes, your passions. From the parent side is your kids can have it all also. They can get that degree. For some, it's just not the right time for them to go on as soon as they graduate. So they can get everything at the same time by participating in an apprenticeship program. It is a viable solution and viable opportunity for them. For the employers, I'll say you need to analyze what you're doing. And if you say year after year you can't find people, you have to rethink the way that you're doing things. And that's really where we got tremendous buy-in. It's gonna take work to get it set up and get it going, but we're in replication phase in different counties now. So there's a couple of bumps every time we go into a new jurisdiction, but that's such as life. So for us, it's been really great. And I can tell you from my perspective, Howard County Public Schools has been the easiest partner to work with during all of this. There are a couple that are catching up, but Stephanie and the team in her office have just been great to work with. So go in with an open mind in what you're trying to accomplish and have a little bit of flexibility. And I'm sure that the team at HCPS can make it happen. And from my perspective, for the graduating seniors, that's where we've had an unintended consequence of this. Stephanie has had students contact our office. I'd say at this point, now that we have the relationship with HCC, they can also contact HCC, and Adrian gave all that information. So that's been a great result of all of our hard work over the last 4 years, is we're getting graduates now who said, you know what, I might be interested in that. So that's something as an unintended consequence that's happened. So thank you, Chris, for everything that you've done today.
And I would just like to reiterate, where else can a student go earn a progressive wage, for the most part, have their tuition fees and books paid for, receive the on-the-job experience, and have a lifelong career all at the the same time and in one place. That's the beauty of apprenticeships. And truly, employers, if you're really looking to develop your talent pipeline, I strongly suggest that you do look at the apprenticeship model in order to be able to grow your talent pipeline. Here's a great opportunity with electrical. Howard County Public Schools does have other opportunities where they can partner with various employers in the region. And likewise, so does HCC. So by all means, students, parents, if you're looking for options, please look at the option here that we've presented today. A lot of things have changed in the last year. There have been layoffs. There have been eliminations of jobs. For someone who really would like to establish their career, whether it be a high school student or someone who's a career changer, please look at us for the apprenticeship options.
Absolutely. And I thank you all for joining me this morning and for all this information. A couple of the words that really stood out to me are, passion, right? You have to have that passion to go into that career. You have the support here through the Howard County Public School System, through HCC, through IEC. You have a full support. You have everybody really cheering you on and really just holding your hand, making sure that you're doing what you need to do to be successful. It's an opportunity, absolutely 100%. Minimal investment. I can't tell you enough how many doors that open for so many people out there who have thought about doing a career, having a career, and can't do it because they can't afford it. Well, this is a way for you to do it. Take your education and build your career. This is a way to start your career path. So I thank you both so much. Employers out there, we encourage you to join. We encourage you to really, like Grant said, reimagine yourself, rethink, relook at how you're doing things and take it to the next step. Everybody, thank you so much. I'll be putting the links on the comments of this conversation so you guys can get in touch with all of our guests. And please do share this information with others out there, because I know that there's a lot of people out there looking for an opportunity, and the apprenticeship might be the right opportunity for them. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thank you all for joining me. Have a beautiful day. And until next time, I am Cris Oviedo.